Hi folks, happy day 23, moderation with Mare. I actually had a day of some appointments, got my hair did, shout out to Ruth, got that fresh bang trim. It's always so much flatter and shinier than when I leave my hair, so I always feel like a pinhead, but it's pretty. What are you gonna do? And got a little facial treatment, let my community take care of me a little bit, which is nice. Feeling the pinch, feeling the pressure to get a bunch of stuff done in a very short amount of time. I have to get the cows prepped for their artificial insemination, big day, and a bunch of irrigation for a bunch of plants that are being moved over, and just the general stuff as well. So, a strike, nursing, farm life, working on self. And I feel that just over 3 weeks in, there's a real settling in of this stuff just isn't that exciting, quote unquote. I keep feeling this urge to be like, oh yeah, make it fun, and it's a lot of just small moments, which I knew it would be, but it's just making that next decision and then making the next one and then making the next one and trying to have a plan. But for the most part, it's just coming down to is this next decision in alignment with what I want or what I value? And I values discussion versus goals discussion. I value love, and I'm learning to love myself. And so allowing myself to make decisions based on love, is this in alignment with love in the moment, right? Sometimes that means taking a break. And sometimes it means showing up and doing the thing that, maybe asking me to push through a little bit. But as I'm sinking more into it and looking for that external kind of, you're doing something, I'm not necessarily finding it, or when I am finding it, it's not really there. And it's deepening that conversation on my nervous system, which is my nervous system is wired for chaos. My nervous system is wired for constant stimulation. My nervous system is wired for people trying to die, that someone else is in a crisis at all times, and I need to self-abandon in order to show up for that crisis. And as I'm learning how to have stronger boundaries, but also greater faith that it's going to be okay. I used to be paralyzed with fear if I felt like someone would need me, because my narrative was if I'm not there for them, then they're gonna die or something may happen. And in some cases that's true, so it can kind of mind fuck you a little bit, but for the most part it's okay. They're okay, or there's a solution that doesn't require you to self-sacrifice. And that is a trip for my nervous system. That is something new. That is a new way of doing life, to regulate myself to peace. And it can kind of come across as boring. And I read this in terms of nervous system relational type stuff. And it was in the context of maybe finding a partner, and sometimes when you think you're not attracted to someone, it's just because you're not used to the chaos that relationships bring. And so if they don't bring an element of chaos, you confuse that with a lack of attraction, where instead it could be just something new. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's boring or not good for you or not aligned. And so that's been very interesting to just notice where it's almost like the compass of your nervous system, right? Where is it tuned to? And is that your true north? And I feel like mine has not been. I'm over that, what is that place above the ocean where all the planes go missing? The Bermuda Triangle. There's a couple of them where you're just you just disappear. Who's in charge of the magnetics? I don't fucking know. But not the true north. Anyway, we're gonna work on that. Any mountain is high enough, folks. We got this. Just pick small. Go for it.